Hello, my name is Kimberly Wilson, and I'm delighted to be here with you today to walk you through how to use Year of Tranquility, a lifestyle planner. And I'm sure many of you have already dived into this and you know that you can set it up however you would like. So what I wanted to do is just give you a little bit of the backstory, encourage you to gather your supplies and to really make this an experience, and then to give you a peek inside of mine. All right, so to start, I encourage you to grab, I have tons of markers. I'm obsessed with Crayola markers, and that's what I am actually using in my book. A glue stick, scissors, and of course washi tape, an assortment of washi tape, super duper helpful. And then to make this really an experience, I like to have tea, a green smoothie I still need to drink, candle, and then of course flowers. So set it up however would make this the most comfortable experience possible for you. I also like to have nice smelly things in addition to the candle. So at last night's Tranquility Salon, someone gave me this scent and it's called Gentle Baby, and it's a Young Living one. And it smells amazing because it has a little bit of rose in it, which just delights me. And then I also, of course, have my parfum, which is the Tranquility parfum that I created in Paris. So believe it or not, I actually even put on perfume before I get into bed. I just love smells. So I want this to be like a full sensory experience for you. So grabbing whatever you may need, you can put me on pause while you do that and then circling back. So when you're back and ready, let's just take a few minutes to get centered and get grounded. So coming to a comfortable seat, and you can let those eyes close. Come here. And grab your pug if needed. And feel your feet on the floor, or if you'd like, sitting cross-legged. That's what I'm doing, which just provides a nice kind of sense of rootedness. And begin by noticing your breath. So feel your inhale and your exhale, moving in and out of the nose. And take a moment to notice physical sensations. What do you observe? Coolness, warmth, tightness, openness, numbness, tingling. Do you feel your seat in the chair? Do you feel your spine nice and tall? And then also noticing any emotions that may be arising for you. Excitement, frustration, disappointment, joy. And there's no right or wrong here, just notice. So we're just hitting the pause button to kind of check in, tune in with ourselves. And then next, noticing where is the mind right now? Is it here in this moment, or is it wandering away to maybe planning your next meal, or what's next on your to-do list, or maybe even something that happened earlier in the day? So whatever it is, it's okay. Just see if you can bring your focus and your attention right back here to be fully present with this experience. Inhale, take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And let those eyes flutter open. Great, so welcome. Let's inhale, reach those arms out to the sides and up. Interlace your hands, turn palms to face up. Then take a gentle side bend. And then right back up into the other side. and then back up, and release those arms out. Bring them behind you and press down, interlacing them, lifting through the head. Nice gentle back bend. And then exhale, curve the spine, drop your chin to your chest. And then back to the center. All right, so it's kind of working out any kinks you may have because we want to be as comfortable as possible for this process. And also I want to encourage you for this process, you can set aside an entire hour for this, or you can break it up and just watch snippets and do pieces as it fits your schedule. So just know there's no right or wrong way to do this, whatever fits best for your schedule and feels best for you. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit too about how this book came to be and share with you. So last year, or in 2018, I released this playbook and daybook. And basically these are lifestyle sorts of planners, but this one, the daybook, also has like weekly layouts, right? So you can actually, it's like your day-to-day sort of planner. And the playbook instead was created for people who already have another sort of planner system, or maybe they're digital and they wanted all the components of the daybook that wasn't day-to-day. So inside there's things along the lines of Meatless Monday, of course the seasonal wheels of life, things to experience this year, etc., even year's dreams, right? So this was the idea, was to pull this together, the playbook version, and to connect it with a Year of Tranquility online program that I offered throughout 2018. And each month we had a module where we would dive into topics such as love, dreams, creativity, style, mindfulness, yoga, and have 4 practices each week, so a weekly practice that would align with that theme. So what I did is I kind of pulled these two together and then created Year of Tranquility, a lifestyle planner. And so this book recently, it just came out in January of 2019. And the idea behind it was to really pull together a way to sort of practice these topics, these tools, these techniques, also have all those checklists that we have in the playbook and in the daybook, or we've had over the years. And then also just to give us a space to dream, reflect, and ideally this isn't about a self-improvement program or you have to do something a certain way. This is really about how do I make this an intentional year filled with things that I love and that are really, really important to me. So that is how Year of Tranquility came to be. Now, one thing is you may have noticed inside lots of spaces that have dots, right? So here's an example on the moon's phases, all these pink dots. And so the idea behind that was to give you all space similar to what is really popular now, dot journaling and bullet journaling, right? Where there's all these grids. And the cool thing is it just gives you a little bit of framework. So I'll give an example of, so here is like an hourly agenda that she has typed into or written into her grid. And so that was the idea behind the pink boxes with all the pink dots. So dot journaling or bullet journaling. And if you'd like some examples, if you just Google, there's so many beautiful examples. People get super duper creative with their different spreads. And, it's even this idea of like tracking your habits, things along those lines. So that was why we did the dots, again, just to offer something that was a little different, a little unique and not your typical lines. So you can use it to help you work within a certain framework and, a grid of sorts, or you can go rogue and do whatever you want. So there's no right or wrong way. So go ahead and grab your book and then open up to the introduction, which is on page 10. Well, actually, let's start with the table of contents because it's always just helpful to look at that to know what is inside this book. So if you look, part 1 is all about planning, right? So this is pages 10 through 43. So what's the first part of the planner? And yet, it's really the pieces from our playbook from last year, right? So it's things like tranquility tools. There's 32 of them. Tools for your days, your weeks, your months, and your seasons. Of course, they're all optional, but I've just created 8 suggested tools for each of these times of the year. Also, there's space for a year's dream. There's a year's layout, which is something that was new that I added, which is January through December little pink boxes, which I'll show in a moment, and to kind of be able to put in what are some ideas you might have for this month, or things that you already have planned for this month, or birthdays or anniversaries, things along those lines that you would like to remember. Then, of course, there's the year's or the seasonal life review, time tracking, health, such as Meatless Monday and wellness planning, capsule dressing, tranquil travel. There's a travel checklist. Again, I'll go through all this, but it's just nice to see kind of how this is laid out. And then a budget, really kind of getting clear on where our time, where is our money going. And then this idea of 30 days of tranquility. Now, if you get down to the second part, which is part 2, that's the practice component, right? So that is pages 44 through 230. So really, it's the majority of the book. It's almost 200 pages of the book. And this is where you get those 12 essays and you get 48 practices, because each month has 4. And then I have a little piece on tying a bow, space for year's review, where you sit down and you look at your year and you do a review of it. Some inspiration pages, which are blank pages for you to create, doodle, draw, whatever you would like. Then a love note and a little piece about me. All right, so let's turn to the first page of the book of introduction, which is page 10. And I just want to mention a few things that are in here that might be helpful as you think of setting your book up and really designing your book this year. So I mentioned that the first thing that might be helpful is to complete a seasonal life review. So that is on page 21. I'll give you a little peek inside of it. So a seasonal life review is kind of like the wheel of life, basically, which many of you have probably done in coaching programs or things along those lines. And I'll take you through that in a moment. And then I also encourage everyone to do the year's dreams. And here's a peek inside of mine, which again, I'll show you in a moment. So those are the 2 things that really, as soon as you get the book, I encourage you to do. The reason for the life review is just to see, like, where are you? A snapshot in time. How are you feeling about all these different areas of your life? And then the year's dreams, even if you pick this up mid-year, what are your dreams for the year? What do you want to bring forth? Because that helps as we get intentional about what it is we want to manifest. And then I go into, okay, here's how you can use it monthly, right? So each month you would do the month's dreams, the monthly layout, you would do the month's review of the previous month, you do the moon cycles, and then you work through the essay. And then weekly, to set aside, my suggestion, if possible, is to set aside 1 hour each week to dabble within your planner. A, to read the practice, B, to write about the practice, C, it may be a moon phase that would have a prompt associated that you would like to work with. And then also you may want to do a little reviewing of your year's dreams, your month's dreams, and maybe doodle in the inspiration pages. And then daily, there's a daily checklist also, which I'll mention in a moment. And then the other suggestion is to scrap everything I've just said and make this book your own in whatever way feels best for you. Really, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Okay, so let's turn to page 12. 12 and 13. This is the manifesto and the tenets, Tranquility du Jour tenets. So the idea behind the manifesto, this is something that I've had, I think maybe I first created it maybe in the 2012, 13, 14 range. And, it says, I believe ... And the suggestion really is to think about, okay, what would be your manifesto? And this year I added and replaced a few things, including, I believe in equality for all. I believe nature heals. I believe that we have a responsibility to make a difference. And I believe in happiness and freedom for all beings. I believe in eating plants. Or sipping plants. Honestly, this is how I get most of my plants. I do a lot of sipping plants. I believe in living life full out. I believe that writing is a tool for discovery. And this is one of my favorites. I believe you're never too old to wear a tutu. So, having returned to ballet about a year ago, it's something that I just love. I think it's just such a fun feminine practice. And I believe in handwritten notes. Love me some snail mail. And the Tranquility du Jour tenets on the next page, I wanted to pull together an example of what is Tranquility du Jour all about, right? So I've been blogging since 2004 and then doing a podcast since 2005. And so we've covered so many topics over the years. And I thought, how can I really narrow it down? Almost taking like this huge range of topics and then funnel it down into 5 tenets. So I came up with compassion, of course, super important to me, the way we treat all beings, treating others as we'd like to be treated, speaking up for those who don't have a voice. Number 2, creativity, right? So this is like my version of creativity. When I meant to mention too, magazines. Magazines are really great to have on hand just for the collaging and different pieces you may be pulling. And of course, the second one, creativity. All these sort of creative tools are super helpful, right? But also just setting up our lives in a way that allows us to express who we are, to me, is a creative existence. Number 3, style and beauty. And when I say beauty, it's not about mayonnaise and petties. Beauty is about really appreciating the beauty around us, and then also internal beauty by what we feed ourselves, what we consume, even what we consume via kind of media and whatnot, right? So it's like, how do we keep ourselves as full of this sense of inner beauty as possible? And style is really the way we reflect ourselves to the world. Number 4 is mindfulness, so approaching life with a sense of intentionality, practicing simplicity, minimalism, and self-care, of course, is number 5, which is really important in the fact that if we can't take care of ourselves, we cannot be fully present and available for others. So number 5, self-care. So that's a new piece actually that I have added. And then this next page I love is tranquility is the quality of calm within a full and meaningful life. So that's my definition of tranquility. Because for years people have been like, I don't understand tranquility. I mean, isn't that just like going off and living in a cave or just sitting in meditation? I'm like, well, we can't do those all day. At least most of us can't. And so the idea is, how do we infuse tranquility into our everyday? And so that's what these next few pages are all about. These are the various tools, right, that range from our 8 daily tools: morning routine, daily dress up, mindful movement, eat or drink your veggies, journal, goal review, gratitude, evening routine. And then we have 8 tranquility tools. So these are planning your week's MITs, which are most important tasks. So every week I choose 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, but usually it's 3 MITs for the week. Soak in the tub. Now, if you don't have a tub, you can still do something that is nurturing for yourself or nourishing for yourself. Number 3, taking a digital day or hour or afternoon off. Clearing clutter. It's amazing what piles up. Number 5, penning a love note. 6, buying or picking fresh flowers. 7, taking an artist date. So this is a 1-hour solo experience where you go and you nourish and nurture your creative spark. And then number 8, savoring a green juice or a smoothie. And just a heads up, this smoothie recipe is actually in the book. Number 8, monthly tranquility tools. Number 1, craft your month's dreams. Number 2, mani-pedi. And again, if you're like not into mani-pedis, no big deal. Just thinking of another well-deserved form of self-care. Number 3, volunteer. So in some way, giving of your resources. Number 4, entertaining, hosting. Number 5, review your budget. And I have examples in the book. Number 6, read 2 books. So 2 books a month, ideally 24 books a year. Number 7, create. And number 8, massage. And this could be even, if you do go get a mani or a pedi, just adding on a 10-minute foot rub, right? So it doesn't have to be a full-on spa experience by any means. So all budgets can work with this, even just asking a beloved or a friend to give you a foot massage or a neck massage. And then we have the 8 seasonal tranquility tools, and this is on page 18. Doing the Wheel of Life, which is a seasonal life review. Number 2, deep cleaning. Number 3, practicing essentialism. And this is the idea of, have you signed up for that one thing too many? Have you added one extra thing to your plate that is really not essential to you, your values, and the way you want to spend your resources? Number 4, taking a bed day. And a bed day is a day that you carve out to just chill, relax, do nothing, stay in bed, read, nap, sip tea, just really chill, right? Number 5, trying something new. Number 6, tending your garden, and this could be literally or figuratively. Number 7, rearranging. So there's something about rearranging our furniture that can really kind of give this sense of movement and flow in our lives, but also thinking about rearranging something else in your life. So again, maybe it's not so much a figurative movement or a literal movement of furniture. Maybe it's more a figurative moving around of something. And then number 8, getting cultured. So the idea here is adding something new to your life you have not done. Maybe it's going to see a play, or maybe it is going to the symphony, right? So whatever it is that would nourish you in a way that is new, or something that you love to do and you want to do it regularly. So that would be getting cultured. Okay, so a bed day is balm for the soul. Now here is an example of my life review. Okay, so I did this whenever my book arrived, and I looked at the various areas from finances, wellness, home, dreams, creativity, career, relationships, style, self-care, spirituality, and I ranked them. And they all ranked between, looks like 6 and 8. And also, I wanted to tell you, if any of these categories don't resonate, just mark through it and add your own. Okay, so maybe you're like, home, I live in a group house, it doesn't really matter, it's not something I think about, or I live alone and it's just, home doesn't really, it's not important to me. Then you could mark through it and maybe you would add something like romance or meaning. I have additional examples up in the top. So what I did, my 3 lowest were spirituality, self-care, and home. And they were all in the 6 range. So action items to increase areas that are lower than I'd like. Spirituality, I wrote more time in nature, getting outside more than just whenever I walk the dogs around the block. More reading. So I feel like reading is a spiritual experience, particularly if you're reading spiritual texts or philosophy or poetry. Really, any sort of reading can feel spiritual, probably. More meditation and yoga. Now, self-care, I wrote more journal writing, more meditation and yoga. There's overlap. And then more morning me time. So my mornings tend to be, I get right up and I tend to the pets because they have very important needs, like they must eat immediately. And so I find that the first really 30 minutes to 1 hour is about that. And so I was like, I'd really like to have some me time in the morning before I launch into the day. So I feel like that would be a really important piece of self-care. And then I wrote less stuff. So typically between the holidays, like Christmas and New Year's, I tend to do a big deep cleaning at the house. And this year I didn't. Instead, I went home to Oklahoma to see family, which was amazing. And yet I'm definitely feeling like, the stuff around here has not been cleaned out. And it is something I really love to do. And you need, at least for me, a couple days because I tend to go through my closet. So I pull everything out. I just pull things out, kind of drawer by drawer, cupboard by cupboard, or, closet space by closet space. And then I just go through everything. And I usually end up with about 10 reusable bags that I donate or give to friends. And it's just one of those things that hasn't happened yet this season. So that's why home feels a little lower. So this is an example of how to use your seasonal life review / wheel of life. And again, it's completely up to you what categories you work with. All right, so the next page, year's dreams. All right, so here's where you think about, what do I want to bring forth this year? So I, of course, added some imagery and then some text on the left. You can do it however you would like, but I do encourage you to grab some magazines for this. Grab a glue stick, and here's just an assortment of magazines. I've got Mantra Wellness, which is Mantra Magazine, mantramag.com, Happiness with a Z, The Flower Patch, and then Point, which is a ballet book that a ballet magazine that Jennifer from Florida sent to me, which is so exciting. I love looking at ladies in toe shoes because that's my goal, is to get back into them. All right, so if we look at page 22 and 23, 24, and 25. So the idea here is to put in imagery, put in words, write with your hand, whatever makes the most sense of what are your dreams for this year. And of course, we've got space right here to write your word or your theme of the year. And whenever I say word or theme of the year, really the idea is, what is something that you can use that would be helpful in decision making throughout the year? And that can also help guide your days. So for example, mine is soften. So when I'm debating, should I take this project on? Should I do this? Should I do that? It's like, how does it align with softening? And so that to me is just a really helpful tool. So writing that in, and you may have more than one word. You may have a few words, which is great. What's really lovely up here, and I got this from Mantra Magazine a few issues ago, is some quotes from Mary Oliver poetry, which, so we know Mary Oliver recently passed, and these are two of my favorites. It says, instructions for living a life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. And then the second, which is, it just is so good. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Isn't that profound? I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Then, of course, there's ballet. There's an Anais Nin quote. If you do not breathe through writing, if you do not cry out in writing or sing in writing, then don't write, because our culture has no use for it. Stillness, yoga, beauty. Okay, and then the next page, I'll do some more writing here. And then I've got greens, pigs, compassion. And the great thing, too, is about this. These magazine pieces are glossy, right? So they can be hard to write on with, like, say, even a marker. A marker might work, but I tend to use Sharpies. And of course, they come in gold and silver. I tend to use a black one. So here, I could use this for Pigs and Pugs Project, which is my nonprofit. I could use that for writing some ideas there. So I'm going to have 3 events this year. And to do a little bit of writing about those, I already know the dates for 2 of them. One is happening in April and June, and then we'll have one probably in October. And so it can be helpful to use a Sharpie, and then you're also incorporating not just beautiful imagery, but words on top of it. All right, so the next page, 26, 27, that I wanted to share is this idea of the year's layout. So as you'll see, I put in things ranging from Pigs and Pugs events to retreats I'm leading. We've got Italy in July. We've got Costa Rica in February. We've got Pigs, Pugs, and Pinot in April. Book release in January. Birthdays, lots of birthdays in September. Releasing the fall collection in September. So the idea is just to put in here, like, what are some of the big things, so that as you look at your year, you have an idea of, like, what's the energy feel like? August is going to be a slow, restorative month. Wow, September is pretty busy. So this can be helpful in that way. Of course, you can use it however you'd like. Next page, books you want to read, places you want to visit, and 30 things you want to experience. So as you'll see, I got started on it. And in my books, I have from The Body Keeps Score to My Life on the Road by Gloria Steinem, Trapeze, which is one of the latest diaries of Anais Nin that was released. Sitting Together, which is about psychotherapy and mindfulness, and Empress of Fashion, which is about Diane Vreeland and her eccentricity and contributions to the world of fashion. So that's just some examples of what I have. Now I also keep this on the Goodreads app. So I have a huge list of things I want to read there. And then also places I want to visit this year. Of course, I want to get back to Paris. I'm going to Venice whenever I lead the Tuscany retreat, spending time in nature out in the woods, New York City, Costa Rica. And then things I want to experience this year. So I went through and I was like, date nights, hot baths, foot massage, that's my favorite thing, sidewalk cafes, peony picking, walking on a beach, sitting fireside in the mountains, campfires, and stargazing. So that's just me kind of getting started on 30 things I want to experience. Okay, so then we go right on over into the start-stop list and gratitude. So I started my gratitude piece, and then the start-stop list I still need to fill in. And that's what I want more or less of in this year. So think about it. What is it you want to manifest, particularly as you look at your year's dreams? What is it you want to bring forth? Okay, so that's things that you want to start. Say you want to bring forth, like for me, one of the things is to get further along in my veterinary social work coursework. So then I would need to start like reading, downloading the modules, etc. So stop would be, okay, so in order to make time and space for that, what do I need to stop doing or put on hold or pause for a little while? Okay, so this next piece is your current weekly schedule and your ideal weekly schedule. So this is a really fun exercise to get clear on, okay, where is my time currently going? Because we all think we're so busy at times. And if you feel that way, I encourage you to read an article in the New York Times called The Busy Trap. It came out in 2012. It's so good. So now I try not to say the word busy anymore. I just listen to these, things are very full, or, yep, a little overwhelmed at the moment, but I really try not to use the word busy. But what I love about this is it helps you get clear, okay, where is my time going? It's in 30-minute increments. And then if we look over to the next page, it's thinking about, okay, where do I want my time to go? And I know it's not, I want to sit around and eat bonbons, right? So it's like, I just want this full open schedule. But to really think about, where do I want my time to go? So, okay, maybe Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is taken up. All right, well, how do you want to spend your evenings? How do you want to spend your weekends? How do you want to spend your mornings? And then I've got a few wonderful podcasts that I've mentioned with the author of 168 Hours, which that's how many hours we have in a week, author Laura Vanderkam. And she's a wonderful interviewee, and I think you might find those to be really insightful. Okay, so then we get into wellness planning. Now, one of the bonuses that came along with this workshop was also PDFs downloadable, about 26 or 27 of them, and it does include the wellness planner. So you could print it out and actually work with this every week. So this is really helpful. We've got breakfast, lunch, dinner. You could either use it to track what you've eaten or to plan what you're going to eat. Okay, water, we want to make sure we're getting our intake of water. Exercise, what was your movement that day? Maybe it was like 15-minute dog walk, or hour and 15-minute ballet class, or hour of yoga. Sleep. Sleep's very important, and tracking that. How is your sleep? Because it may be helpful to notice, how is your sleep based on how your exercise is and then what you're eating, because all that can affect it. And also it can affect our mood. So that's why I added mood this time. So noticing, how is your mood and how is it affected by what you're consuming and what you're doing? Now the shopping list down here is if you do use this for meal planning. There's your shopping list lines. And then I wanted to list some plant-based proteins. That is a tongue twister. Because a lot of times as a vegan, and one of the big questions we get is like, what about protein? What about protein? So I like to just list so that people realize how many plant-based proteins are out there. Okay, so this next page, Meatless Monday, got me with this beautiful pig. We went last year to Best Friends Animal Sanctuary out in Kanab, Utah. If you have not been, I highly recommend it. It's massive. My gosh, how many animals do they have? Like 1,500? They have birds, they have cats, of course, and dogs, they have horses, they have pigs, they have goats. I mean, it's like everything. And it's really, reptiles. I mean, it's just like, it's very, very cool. Anyway, so that's me with a pig whenever we were out there, and it was quite hot. It was June. It was sweltering. So here I've got just some ideas on mindful eating, how to incorporate that in. And then there's more about this in the self-care chapter, but I also have a lot of podcasts too that you might find helpful as you think about how to eat less and consume less meat. And then also just a reminder that just going meatless one day, the effect that it can have on the animals, and then also in the environment, and then also on health. And if you're curious about this, you can find lots and lots of great information and resources online. All right, so detox. Now, this is something I offer somewhat regularly, 1 to 3 times a year on the Tranquility du Jour community. You are welcome to join for free. And basically, this is our guideline, right? So this is our detox guideline, page 36. And there's also a downloadable of this for you in the PDFs. And basically, we do a 7-day cleanse. And the things that we work to eliminate is added sugar, alcohol, caffeine, meat, dairy, eggs, and gluten. That's the hard one. So anyway, and processed or fried foods. So really, it's all about just clean eating. Now, honestly, even if you just do this for an afternoon, I say kudos. But if you can do it for 1 day, 2 days, a weekend, an entire week, amazing. And then I also have, some ideas for meal ideas over on the left. Now, the next page has a variety of 6 plant-based recipes. And the green smoothie that I'm drinking right here is also listed. And the great thing about this is you can really get a ton of protein, a ton of nutrients, just start your day off with it. Okay, so capsule dressing, this is page 38. And then there's page 39, right? So capsule dressing, this is like your daily dress up. And then travel, how to make travel a little bit more ease filled, right? So I've got tips on that. I've got packing lists, tools, and then space for you to write yours. Now, also with the capsule dressing, what I have is a list of 11 pieces from Tranquility, which is my locally sewn eco-friendly clothing line that I've been doing since 2002. Oh my gosh, before I was blogging. And what I've done with this is try to create a way that you can take just a few pieces and have many, many, many looks. So for me, I live in number 2, the 2-in-1 fitted, and number 9, the legging. I tend to mainly wear the capri. And so I have those on really every day. I have them on right now. And then over it, I have the long sleeve wrap tunic. So I'm always layering. So it doesn't look like I'm wearing the same thing all the time. But truth be told, I am. So let's just say it makes getting dressed in the morning incredibly easy. All right, so the next pages, we've got 40 and 41 also included in your downloadable PDFs. So the great thing about this is, can you set a budget? Now, those of you who are more digital, mint.com, there's many, many other ways to do it. But to really get clear, okay, like how much money is coming in, how much is going out, and where is my discretionary spending going? Am I able to donate to charities? Am I able to go to that concert I want to see, or buy the book I want to buy, or whatever it is that is of value and importance to you? And while also Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like getting the basics handled, like electricity, clothing, shelter, all that important stuff. And then the next page, page 41, is getting clear on, okay, weekly spending. Where is our money going? Sunday through Saturday. And this is really helpful and insightful. We do this in the minimalism chapter, and it is just so eye-opening. I remember whenever I released that chapter and was going along with it, I was just writing in my planner every day what I spent. And it's amazing, particularly eating out or things like that, how it accumulates. So it can just be insightful. Okay, then we get into pages 42, 43, and the idea of this is 30 days of tranquility, just to take a little 30-day tranquility challenge. And then on the left, I have pink peonies, piles of books, rose gold, and cups of tea. It's just an assortment of things that I find to be amazing. All right, so now we get into the planner part. So with the planner part, what I wanted to highlight is how to kind of get your month set up for success. Now, again, Really, all you need is markers. I did use some washi tape, which I'll show you. You can, of course, use imagery too. And that's really it from a tools perspective. But I tell you, I do love me some washi tape, magazines, glue stick, scissors, and markers. Oh, and Sharpies can come in quite handy. So here's just an example, my monthly planner for January. So setting an intention, my intention is to ease into 2019, right? To really just like, rather than diving in, like deep dive and, going just head first, I'm like dipping my toe in. I'm just kind of exploring, what is 2019? And then over here, I wrote my month's dreams, and I'll give you an example. So I've got Tranquility du Jour Live, which I released in early January. Hopefully some of you were able to join that. And then releasing the book, releasing this video. I want to create a content calendar. And basically what that is, and it's something I've resisted despite the fact that everybody does this who has a blog or podcast. I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people, because it helps keep you organized of like, okay, when am I releasing what? What do I want my topics to be? What's the focus? I tend to just do it as the muse strikes. So I'm like, like this morning, let me write about ballet today. And it would be nice if I was maybe a little more structured. So that's the idea with setting up a content calendar. Daily greens. We'll probably be drinking them. 15 ballet classes, hosting sweet salons. So New Year's Day, I did a New Year's salon. Last weekend, I did a writing salon. And then I just recently launched the 4-week Tranquility Salon. So all of these are in-person events here in Washington, D.C., in my office space down in DuPont, which is just so sweet. Celebrating 15 years. My partner and I have our 15-year anniversary coming up. Drafting the day book. So I'm going to be putting together a new version of this that aligns a bit more with this lifestyle planner, but it has all the weekly layouts. So watch for that. That will be available soon. Releasing podcasts, love notes, creating some new postcards. Okay, so that's kind of my January dreams. So thinking about for you, what is it that you want to create, manifest, bring to life, focus on, pay attention to, eat, drink, see, experience this month? And then we use the column the next month. So as I'm going to be creating my February dreams, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a little reviewing of how did these go. Now you could also take an image from a magazine. So I'll just show you like something that might be kind of cute. So take an image from a magazine. And, trim this down to fit. And then you could put this in. And then write over it with a Sharpie, write your dreams and your review. So that's another way to work with this. If you're like, I don't want to use the lines, I want to be more creative and collagey and add more. And this is just a fun thing to do, is just to tear out and add images. And you'll see I did washi tape on the edges. I also did that a little bit further back. And what's kind of nice about that, which was on my year's dreams, what's nice about that is then as the year goes on, I'm going to have these really fun edges on my book. Okay, so then we get into, which was new this season, moon's phases. And then of course you have the daily checklist. So the moon's phases, what I love about this, and I have listed the dates for the moons, and just Google like January moon phases and it'll tell you the dates for each of these, right? So right now, as I record this, full moon time. And so the full moon is the idea about releasing. The new moon is about what you want. The waxing moon is about action, what you will do. And then the waning moon is like a softening, more feminine, and this is like an I feel, right? So I have, for the new moon, I want to intentionally design 2019. Waxing moon, I will spread the word about Year of Tranquility, move my body, and plan a weekend trip. And what's funny is since then, I've planned 3. So for our anniversary, we're going up to see the Gloria Steinem play in New York City. I also booked us a little tiny cabin, one of those mini cabins in the woods for Memorial Day weekend. And then I also just booked a trip to Colorado to see a girlfriend and just to spend, again, a short weekend in the woods with her by a fire, right? So it's funny how you put this out there and things do happen. And then full moon, I release the need to be perfect / on. So the need to be on, just like, what's it like to not be? Because it was funny throughout the holidays, most days I was still in the same thing I slept in and, just in front of the computer, just working on this book. And it was like, wow, I am really so not on. I am just in it, really diving in. And so I like this as just the releasing the need to kind of be on or be perfect. Now, the daily checklist, this is using those 8 daily tranquility tools and looking at them and assessing them every day. So here's my assessment. It looks like I'm missing quite a bit of the journaling, unfortunately, and goal review on certain days, and also certain days mindful movement. But overall, I feel like pretty strong with these. Definitely room for growth and improvement, always. But I'm releasing the need to be perfect. Okay, so dreams. So that is chapter 1. And don't worry, I won't go through each of these chapters with you. I just kind of wanted to walk you through the initial stages to help you get set up and how to best use this book. But again, you can ignore everything I'm saying and use it however you want. So what you would do at the beginning of the month is you would read the essay. And then there's some great savvy sources I have over here from an assortment of Tranquility Du Jour podcasts that you can download for free, apps and books that might be helpful. And then there's the dotted notes section. So if there's anything you want to just kind of muse about or reflect upon from the essay. Then we get into the different weeks practices. Okay, so week 1, year's dreams. And this is really about creating those SMART goals. Week 2, reaching your dreams and setting up primers, accountability partners, things along those lines. And then you'll see at the bottom, we also have the 8 weekly tranquility tools. And you'll see I did all of them except for a digital day off. Same thing here. I got to work on that digital day off. Once you fall out of the habit, it's hard to get back in, but I plan to do it. It is an intention. My life is my art. Okay, week 3, visualize your dreams. So you'll see I added images in over the pink dotted spaces. So you can use this however you want. But I just love this with the idea of visualizing your dreams and with my word of the year being soften. I thought this was great. Savor your life. If you slow things down, you notice things you hadn't seen before. And then tea time is a chance to slow down, pull back, and appreciate our surroundings. Isn't that lovely? So then we get into week 4, and that's writing a letter to your future self. So you can pull this out. So you'll see that pages, there's like a little idea of like doing a perforation. So you would just cut it out and put it over onto page 220. And this was actually the idea of Year of Tranquility participant Barbara. She was like, why don't you have it where people write it? And then there's a big envelope in the back. So this is credited to Barbara. So great idea. And so the idea is you would actually attach an envelope here and insert your letter inside. And it's going to be there for you to pick up and read when the year is over. All right, so that's how we work through a month. And then you're all set up to start February. And you could go through, what might be helpful is to go through and go ahead and get all these monthly planners set up. Now you won't know your dreams probably for the month, and you of course won't be in the moon phases yet, but you could at least get this layout set up if that would be helpful for you. Okay, so you're going to work this way throughout the book, and then we come towards the end. Oh, and you'll also find there's a few throughout the seasonal life reviews. So they're pretty much set up quarterly, although I do have one that starts the book and ends the book. And then I've got a little piece to you on tying a bow. So how to kind of summarize and pull everything you've done from this year together. And then year's review. So here's where at the end of your year's journey with this book, you will spend some time just reflecting on, how did that go? How did this feel? What would a collage look like? And you could maybe pull some photos that you have done over the year or things that you have seen. It's always interesting to put in like concert stubs or promos from a retreat you attended, things along those lines. It can be really great. That's year's review. Then you've got letter to future self and then inspiration pages. So I've got a few of these in the back. And in the day book that I'll be creating, just so you know, I'm going to be adding a lot more of this because I think so many of you are just eager to personalize it. Add. And you'll see here's an example of a collage that I did last year. So just to give you an idea, and of course you can collage completely over this, use this however you would like. And then love notes. I'll just read you the love note at the end. Thank you for your gracious support of this book. Truly, thank you. These Year of Tranquility tools were crafted with lots of love, and I hope they've been a source of inspiration for designing your year with intention. Your purchase helps support petite female-owned businesses, mine, Hip Twinkle Ventures, and my graphic designer, single mom, pig sanctuaries and pug rescues, and the planting of 500 trees. What we do has a compassionate ripple effect, so thank you again. Let's grab a virtual cup of tea and connect via Love Notes, which is the online newsletter I send out every 2 weeks, the blog, KimberlyWilson.com/blog, podcasts, and online courses, which I hope to do some new ones for you this year. Or indulge in real life on a retreat or in a salon offering. I hope our paths will cross online, in person, or in spirit this year. I'm honored to be alongside you on this journey. You are beautiful. And then this last page is just a little bit about me, and then it also has my books at the bottom, and then the various ways to find me. I'm mainly obsessed with Instagram, but I'm also on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll be doing more videos this year also. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, and it's listed here and on the back cover, is the hashtag Year of Tranquility. So please snap photos of you with your book, of you working in your book, and hashtag Year of Tranquility, because I love seeing what you guys are creating, what you're doing, what you're manifesting, what you're bringing forth. And please keep me posted, because it means a lot to me to know how is this work having an effect. And so I hope this has been helpful as you think through how to use your lifestyle planner in a way that best benefits you. And as Mary Oliver would say, so tell me, what do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? My hope is that this book will allow you to really reflect upon that and bring this year forth with a sense of intentionality, meaningfulness, nourishment, things that really matter most to you. And again, this is not a self-improvement program. This is more about a self-reflection program and to a reminder of the ripple effects that our efforts have on others and the world at large. So thank you for supporting this book. And again, please keep me posted on how it's resonating with you. And I can be found KimberlyWilson.com. My email is Kimberly@KimberlyWilson.com. My snail mail address is there. I love me some snail mail. And again, would love to hear from you. Oh, and one more. Let me just give a little peek to Gizmo, who kind of crashed the party during the yoga session or just the mindfulness session. And you'll see him in the book, and I'm like obsessed with this dog, so you probably see him a bit on Instagram, right, Gizzy? So sorry, I just woke him up from a nap. He's like, put me down. So thank you guys so much for being here, and yeah, please keep me posted on how this book is falling and resonating with you. Thank you.